Labor Day Pod, Keenan Ward, talking tight ends. Do not pass on listening to this pod. Keenan Ward, breaking your cherry. Virgin appearance on the Rockford Report, the SKFL pod. Thanks for joining, man. How's your Labor Day weekend going?
It's been fine. I'm working through it. But yeah, no, it's not bad. I'll take it. Nice. What about you? Anything in particular?
I hang out with my daughter. Her birthday was this week, 17th birthday, so hung out with her on Friday.
That's awesome.
Hung out with Jeff Tager from the league. We went to the casino and were degenerates gambling on college football on Saturday. Nice. I made 55 cents, which was nice. And yesterday I went, just visited my mom for a little bit. Awesome. Today it's hanging out, doing laundry and doing nerd shit like this. So perfectly acceptable. So your first year in the league, we're excited to have you. That you showed yourself very well at the draft. That was a very well thought out. You got a good roster. Tell me, what was your impression of your first SKFL draft? Interesting characters for sure in this league.
Yeah. So I mean, there were, including you, there were some people that I had at least briefly met in person before.
Casey, Jeff, for sure. Ian, of course.
Right. And yeah, and I had been in a league before with both Ian and Randy.
Okay.
Which, to tie into the, well, we'll go into tight ends, was a huge tight end premium league. So I do have a funny little soft spot for tight ends. But yeah, no, so this was the first time I had ever done a fully offline draft. So that was new to me. And yeah, no, I mean, it's fun. You definitely have a lot more. I mean, the biggest thing is there's just so many more draft day trades just because there's no pick clock, people don't feel like, people aren't rushing to do anything, which, is a plus minus. But yeah, I loved how much engagement there was. I would have liked, I mean, it is what it is. It would have been nice if there were a way to follow along a little bit easier, like an online draft, but the engagement level and just being able to, chill in the presidential suite and put actual picks up on the board it's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's definitely, we take a little bit of pride in that. We've been around a while. We like to do destination stuff. We like to start having a little technical issue as we go through here, but
that was cool. Not a problem.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, all right. Well, glad you're a part of it. Let's talk about tight ends. You have a soft spot for tight ends. I think we all do to some extent. But let's take a look. So when you look at these tight ends, you can kind of go from like the worst groups to the best groups, or you can kind of go any way you want to. Talk about tight ends and what you see as maybe the teams that have the top groups in the league.
Sure. Well, actually, can I start from the bottom and move up?
You can. Hey, it's your show, man. You got the keys to the car. You're driving. You take us anywhere you want to go.
Okay. So, overall, I mean, it's funny too, because I mean, so I sort of went back and forth on like how heavily to weigh certain criteria, or like, is it better to, if you have one fantastic player and then you're sort of slumming it elsewhere, does that fantastic player outweigh the sort of like balanced approach? But yeah, to me, there is, starting from the bottom of the league, for me, the worst team to me is Cappers. I gotta say,
Cappers. We'll pull them up. Yeah, there we go. So we're looking at, with Cappers, you've got Jared Cook and Mike Gesicki. Well, I mean, one of them's not even on a team, so
Jared Cook isn't on a team. So that's self-explanatory there. And Gesicki, I think Gesicki is a good player. But there's been a lot of weird smoke coming out of
There has been.
coming out of his situation with the
I've
Dolphins.
smelled some of that smoke.
Yeah, from trade rumors. And I mean, some of it, I mean, yeah, he just isn't, he's not a good blocker. That's just not what his game is. And it just sort of seems like, I don't know, feels like they want another Kittle, and it doesn't, I don't think Gesicki is that. So we'll see. Yeah, I will be curious to see what happens there. But there's enough weird uncertainty with Gesicki and Jared Cook not being on a roster that, to me, that situation stood out like a sore thumb to me personally. So that to me was where I started.
So number 12, Randy. What about number 11? What do you got?
For number 11, I have WrestleMania.
Blake Isbell. Sorry, Blake. Ooh, Gerald Everett, Hunter Henry. Yeah, that's kind of a.
So yeah, and it's debatable. It's not awful. Like, I mean, it's they are on teams, so we're moving up in the world.
They are employed.
Yeah, I mean, and part of it is probably just recency bias with Gerald Everett, seeing him not ever fully click with the Seahawks. And yeah, I mean, that could certainly turn out well. I don't know. What were you saying?
No, yeah, you're right. It could turn out well. He's got a great quarterback. I mean,
yeah, no. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility, but is far from a sure thing, feels like. And then Hunter Henry, this is just a personal thing. I'm down on Hunter Henry with the Patriots. I don't know. Again, is something that could turn out well, but both of those seem like far from secure locks to be productive tight ends on their teams.
Yeah, they're not. If you're looking at those two tight ends, you're like, oh, these are my guys I'm going to war with every week.
Yeah,
you're not. You're looking at the waiver wire. You're talking about trades. You're doing your thing. Okay, who do you have at 10?
At 10, and this is debatable. We get into some iffy stuff here, but It's a Celebration is who I have at number 10. I
think 10 is. I think you're being nice at 10.
Yeah, you think?
Well, I mean, again,
it's
all debatable. It's all conjecture. But you got.
Well, I mean, I think you could swap WrestleMania, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I get the Irv Smith pick. I think is the biggest thing I can say there. That I can see. I can see that working out. I'm not super high on Irv Smith, but I get it. Jordan Brevin for me. I mean, again, that is something that can turn out. But for me, that's a deep sleeper. Not that, I mean, with two tight ends, that is sort of what you're looking at. But that seems like a total dart throw to me to go with Texans tight end. And then he does have Robert Tonyan on the IR as well. And again, could be. But I mean, other than who was the one like Rodgers tight end that actually had like a good season back in the day?
Great question.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think I can't. It's not coming to mind, but I
mean, definitely there's a lot more opportunity. Like, I mean, there's no Devontae Adams to throw to, obviously, right? But yeah, anyway, to me, that's a little uncertain. I personally don't love the Jordan Brevin pick. Feels like a little too much of a dart throw to me. But
all right, well, not going to disagree. These are shaky rooms. I always kind of like Brevin Jordan just because I saw him in college. So I was like, I kind of like this guy. And you kind of get some bias based on.
And that's fair. And I don't watch a whole bunch of college football. So, and that's totally valid. That that is a little bit of a weak spot for me. So
he hasn't produced at all. So I mean, he was 20 catches last year. The quarterback isn't great. Yeah. Team isn't great. Yeah. All right, let's go number 9. Where the hell am I at on the thing here? Number 9. Who do you have there?
I put myself at number 9. Just being realistic. I actually love. I could justify putting myself as high as 6, but I think that's blowing a little too much smoke. So I have myself at number 9. To me, these are all incredibly unsure picks, but there's crazy amounts of upside for me, the way I look at it. I don't plan on starting Logan Thomas anytime soon, but I'm totally fine having him and waiting to see how he comes back from the injury. And if he does come back in any sort of good shape, I love him as a player. And I mean, say what you will about Carson Wentz, but yeah, he's a player that knows and has used his tight ends in past. Yeah. Evan Ingram is again, you can hate him, but I mean, I think the volume will be there with the Jaguars. Doug Peterson, I can't remember going back to Carson Wentz for the Eagles, but yeah, I mean, historically has set tight ends up for success. Yeah, I just think he's going to at least get the targets. And then Njoku, I'm actually really excited about. This is the first time he'll like actually be the lead tight end without having somebody else, theoretically at least, coming in to change the pace. But I mean, he's always been, a special athlete, right?
Yeah, he's a freak athlete for sure. And he's a guy I've always kind of had my eye on myself. It's like, Njoku.
Yeah.
When's it the year that he's going to have 85 catches? And
right. I think this could be it. Well, and especially with, it sounds weird to talk about Jacoby Brissett being a positive for a player. But I mean, that's who he throws to is tight ends, running backs to tight ends. He's not a big, deep threat necessarily. So I can see a lot of Njoku
team upside tight end there for sure. What about who do you have at 8?
At number 8, New World Order.
New World Order. Fant and Hawkinson. Okay.
Yes.
Now we're getting into we got tight end 1 here.
Right. And yeah, Hawkinson, that's a solid pick. And I do think Hawkinson probably projects it as at least a tight end 1 for sure. Yeah. It really, for me, it's just Fant. I think I'm just low on Fant. I like Fant as a player, but I don't know. It's hard to tell how Fant fits into this group, or even
really
if,
wild
between, and I mean, with Disley and Parkinson too, it's just even with this team projecting tight ends, who knows? And who knows what that looks like with Geno Smith either. So I just have no idea what to think about Noah Fant there.
Any Seahawk was a stay away for me, but
pretty much. Just enough uncertainty there outside of Hawkinson, but sort of where that's slotted.
Well, let's take a look. Who do you have at 7?
At 7, we have everyone is available. Trade God with AJ.
Trade God, self-proclaimed trade God. Narcissist City there, AJ.
Yeah,
okay,
this one is me showing my own bias a little bit. I'm actually pretty high on Cole Kmet. I just think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. So that really, I think you could probably switch AJ Musa, and that might be a little more justified. But I like Cole Kmet there. I think Hayden Hurst is probably, I don't know. I could see Hayden Hurst doing a lot better than what would be indicated by where he seems to be going. So I wouldn't hate that as my 2 tight ends personally. Yeah,
that Burrow used Uzama last year quite a bit.
Yeah, well, where's Uzama now? He's not there.
He's he went to the Jets, signed a deal with the Jets.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't hate that. I mean, I don't love it.
No, I mean, I don't love it either. But I mean, like in theory, Hayden Hurst is, starting tight end on a solid offense. So I don't know.
Number 6.
Ron Dick Revival.
RDR.
And this I had no idea how to rate Ian's team because you have Travis Kelce, and then the only other tight end is Taysom Hill, and I think that's getting a little too cute.
Ian likes to get cute. He likes to him and Casey, and I'll put myself in that category as well. As like, hey, we like to take the guy that's going to make us look smart if it hits, but then everybody can kind of ignore it if it doesn't.
Sure. And I mean, I think you don't have to go too far back to where it would be a genius pick, where it's like, oh my God, starting Taysom Hill at tight end. But it's a new coaching staff. We have no idea how they view Taysom Hill, if they view him as anything other than just a middling tight end. I don't, could hit. Could be amazing, but I don't see it.
Could hit. If he ends up being like playing a couple games of quarterback, that becomes like, whoa, okay.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying is that if he's the Taysom Hill of years past in terms of his role, then of course it's genius. I just don't think it will be. I don't think that'll be the case. Yeah. So
rolling snake guys there for Ian. Okay, who do you have at 5?
At 5, we have the program.
The program. Carlos. Great Digby Schultz.
Yeah. I think Schultz I don't know. I think Schultz is a great pick there.
Me too.
I think Tyler Higbee is a hate crime committing asshole, but I think he's a great fantasy asset. Oh yeah, look it up. Look up the Tyler Higbee hate crime. But yeah, no. But as far as like being the starting tight end for the LA Rams, yeah, I think that's actually a great 1-2 punch. And Cameron Brate. So I don't know. I guess it just depends whether you believe in Kyle Rudolph or not. Which, yeah, it's not hard to talk yourself out of that proposition. So yeah, I think Cameron Brate is a solid dart throw after those two. So
yeah, it's a decent room. You can feel comfortable with that because I think Schultz probably going to get the second most targets of the pass catchers, non-running backs. Probably, I don't know. Maybe Gallup gets in there.
No, I mean, I think there's definitely a path to that for sure. Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4, I have Victoria's Secrets.
Victoria's Secrets, Jeff Kinney. Where are you at, Victoria's Secrets? I know.
Yeah, it's a real simple one too. So it's Kittle and Freiermuth.
Kittle and Freiermuth. Okay, so you got 2 potential stud tight ends right there.
Yeah, and I love Kittle. I mean, who knows? I know people are antsy about seeing what Trey Lance does for him, but I think he's just too good to be affected too much by that. And yeah, I see that as a home run.
88, 85, then 48 and 66 catches, mostly due to injury, not necessarily because of performance.
Right. Yeah, I personally am. I think I'm higher on Kittle than some other people for sure. So yeah,
and then Freiermuth, you're right. I mean, we don't know the quarterback situation. We don't know how much Trubisky / Pickett's going to target the tight end, but 54 catches as a rookie and 7 touchdowns. That's going to trend in a good direction for sure.
Yeah. I mean, with tight end being the mess it is, I think Freiermuth probably ends up as a tight end one personally.
I would agree with that. Okay, now we're in the top 3. Now we're talking big time tight ends because I know which 3 teams these are going to be. Everybody's got pretty good tight ends here. Who do you have at 3?
I have you at number 3.
That's about where I'd put myself as well.
So with Ertz, Likely, and Waller. Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason you're there really is just what do you think is going on with Waller?
Well, another negotiating contract. Yeah. So that's going on right now.
Weirdly, you almost hope it's a contract dispute because otherwise it's like a weird lingering injury, right?
Yeah, he's back practicing now. So
yeah.
So he's, at least per what I saw a couple of days ago. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But I think he'll be fine. You know, he's got an interesting background, you know, with the addiction issues which he's overcome, but
right.
And all that cool, which is great.
Did you know that he's I think Fats Waller's great grandson?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Trivia.
But we'll see. I like these guys. I like their upside, but I still think they have a little bit lower floor than I'm super comfortable with, which is why we got Albert O later and Likely, who I think is
that's right
good too.
Yeah, no. I mean, and even if Likely isn't a thing this year, I think that's a great pick for the future. Yeah, and I like Zach Ertz. I really do. Especially coming into the beginning of the year without Hopkins.
That was kind of the play there. We get 6 games where he's going to be probably the touchdown target. So hopefully we hit on that. Who do you have at 2?
I have Shattered Dreams.
Shattered Dreams.
Yeah.
Shattered Dreams. Mark Andrews, Knox, Hooper, tic tac toe.
Yeah. And I mean, there's once we get up into this area, I mean, you know, it's easy to justify, I think, either team as being 1 or 2. So I mean, yeah, Mark Andrews, it's hard to argue with that. On a team that just lost their number 1 wide receiver, you have an established pass catcher, and Lamar loves his tight ends. Baltimore, man, just all about those tight ends. So yeah, I think that's great. Dawson Knox, I think, is solid. I have no idea how to feel about Austin Hooper, but I think it's I think Austin Hooper is a better tight end 3 than a lot of the other tight end 3s in the league.
Solid, steady Eddie. I've had him a couple of times. He'll, as you said, just steady Eddie. And at number one, you obviously have Jeff, who was just loaded at tight end. He pulled kind of the same deal I did last year. Let's get two elite tight ends. And
yeah, no, again, another really simple one where it's you're not getting into any sort of backup or anything. It's there's 2 tight ends that you're starting every week. And yeah, I love it. I was shocked in our draft that Goddard went as late as he did. So I think that's, I'd be thrilled if I were him, having Pitts and Goddard. Yeah. So that's my personal number 1.
Yep. I think if I was going to rank them, I'd have your top 3. I would have probably exactly the same. And then you can kind of nitpick whatever 4 through 12. Sure. But anyway, all right, man. Well, we've talked about tight ends. Yeah. Are you excited for week 1? You got you're facing Ian week 1, which is baptism by fire.
Right. I mean, we'll see who he. I can't decide whether I hope he plays Taysom Hill against me or not.
You think he picks up a kicker or another tight end, or I think he would go kicker.
I mean, I think he could pick up somebody like again, we talked about Rudolph, but I mean, Rudolph's on the wire and theoretically is there. Conklin, I guess, would be another person.
I'd have to look. Yeah, I did not do any preparation for this, Keenan. My apologies. I do not know the waiver wire tight ends are available right now, but it's slim pickings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whatever it is.
I mean, yeah, he does have his choice of kickers. I am the only person currently rostering a kicker, so yeah, he's got his he's the belle of the ball in that area.
All right, man. Well, thanks for joining. This is cool. Hopefully you can maybe do a couple more this year whenever you want. Talk a little SKFL football and have a great.
I love that you're doing this, truly. So it's something that I've toyed around with in my main league, is getting a league podcast going. So the fact that you actually do it is great. I think it's an awesome idea.
This isn't your main league. I mean, you get kicked out of the league to talk like that.
Where's the leave button?
That's like saying the
terribly wrong. Cut.
It's all right, man. It's the new one for you. You've been in other ones before, so we're glad to have you. Thanks for stopping by today, and we'll talk down the road.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Take it easy.
Oh yeah, I'm a little right.